Hi, my name's Nick Broughton and I'm a Randomfish. Hit that subscribe button and let's be Randomfishes together, shall we? Now, see if you can remember what this song is. Chucklevision, to Chucklevision, Chucklevision. Bow, 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 bow. Chucklevision, to Chucklevision, Chucklevision, bow, bow. There are bits that I've missed out, but obviously you should hopefully get the gist. That, of course, was the almighty and awesome theme song known simply as the Chuckle Brothers. Now, for those of you who don't know what the Chuckle Brothers were, ooh, buddy, I mean, I feel sorry for you. I really do. The Chuckle Brothers show, at least on CBBC, the focus of this one that I'm actually looking at here, began back in 1987 and wouldn't finish until 2009. Over 20 years of being on the air. They managed to push out nearly 300 episodes out of this, 292 to be exact. And through that entire antics, it had one very simple premise. These two brothers are trying to do stuff. It's literally the plotline of the entirety of the show. They try and do stuff to try and earn some money, maybe try and get out of some trouble, maybe try and do something a bit fun for the community. The whole thing goes absolutely heads up in a just can open worms everywhere. The whole thing, the gigantic, it's a smorgasbord of randomness. That's what it is. That's why I thought it'd be perfect for this show. The Chuckle Brothers, of course, Paul and Barry being their names, are of course two bumbling idiots with moustaches who decide that they need to start doing things for the sake of doing things. Like I said, maybe it's to help someone out, maybe it's just for fun, but whatever the reason, silliness usually ensues. Following usually with the line of, to me, to you, to me, to you, a lot of the time. Now, Chuckle Brothers was made during that wonderful age of television where slapstick was still funny. Now, when I say that, I do actually mean it. Up until 2009, up until the show finally ended, it was still funny throughout the entire run. That is not something that you can honestly boast about. Chucklevision is to England what you could, and to live action, is what Tom and Jerry was to animation. Very proper slapstick, very proper yelling, everything more fun, more realistic, and just with a bit more comedy to it. Now, obviously, it wasn't filled with pratfalls and people always getting hurt off of ladders, although a large number of the episodes seem to involve a lot of that. But the show itself seemed to involve a lot of pies to the face, a lot of things being taken to the face, really. Which is a lot of fun to really watch. And I cannot stress enough the interesting stuff that happens in this show. I mean, you could almost have this slightly comedic moment where they're trying to understand something, or at least, at some point or another, have someone try to explain something to them. None of them have a damn clue what the hell's going on. And yet they go, we could do that. We could totally do that. Brilliant. Absolute brilliance. And I'm not trying to sugarcoat it. This show did so many things right with its setup. And so many good things right with its premise. These two brothers, they're trying their best. They're not always getting the job done. And yes, it's heartbreaking to see them not always get the things that they need to do in order to get things right at the end of the day, but it's still, they're still trying, and they're still ultimately trying to get things done. Which, frankly, as far as many other things are concerned, that is more impressive than anything else. I mean, from my perspective anyway, that's what it feels like. The show has this immortalized feeling. Again, it feels very reminiscent of a lot of cartoons from the 80s and 90s. That being, a lot of stuff will not go your way. And a lot of people will be better than you, and sometimes you'll just piss people off. And honestly, that's okay, because you can try again another day, and that's what the Chuckle Brothers ultimately represented. So, why am I talking about Chuckle Brothers? Why am I talking about Chucklevision in any way? Yes, it's a funny show, but why does that interview with you, the watcher of this video? Well, if you're just clicking onto this thing because you have no idea what Chucklevision is, then I simply have one thing to say, and that's shame. Go and watch the show. Go on. No, I'm not kidding. You can click off this video and go watch Chucklevision. Go on. I'm not kidding around, young man or young lady. You leave this video right now and you go and watch Chucklevision. That's better. So now, why talk about Chucklevision at all? Well, because for me, it was a massive thing growing up. Starting in 1987, it had 3 years to improve upon its craft before I even turned up in the world. And frankly, growing up from the 90s, you had a lot of random shtick you had to deal with. And while you had the likes of Bodger and Badger occasionally appearing on TV, Chucklevision was a permanent fixture. And while I'll be absolutely honest, I didn't watch a lot of live TV growing up because a lot of the stuff that I liked to watch was on VHS. Kids, for those of you who don't remember, VHS, the giant tape things that we used to put in giant players. If anyone's watching this who doesn't know what a VHS is, then I can't help you. I just can't. VHSs were just the thing for a while. It is what DVDs ended up replacing. But it's still an amazingly fun show, and finding it on DVD or VHS or download anywhere is not impossible. But it's also not overtly easy. However, if you go looking for it, I'm sure you'll be able to find it at some point. So, this is a relatively short review because, frankly, there's so many good stuff about it. It's very hard to come up with a top 5 favourite episodes for this show, because Chucklevision was, and always will be, at least to me in any way, shape or form, is just this amazing moment. One of the favourite episodes that I ever discovered in my life was an episode where they ended up being spies. And the whole thing ended because one of them accidentally blew something up with a missile that they had no idea was there. Like, this is the ultimate in pratfalls. This show was the ultimate expression of pratfalling and really lucking your way into this. I think it's because of Chucklevision that shows like Johnny English were created. Or even how Rowan Atkinson's career was even built. Now granted, Rowan Atkinson I think was starting doing comedy before the Chuckle Brothers came along, but still, one holds influence over the other. It's kind of fun to see. Now unfortunately, one of the actors who plays in the Chucklevision has now passed away. And that happened last year, I believe. And it's sad. It's really sad. But honestly, that just sort of got me realizing just how much I truly appreciated this show growing up. It gave me this idea that, you know, there were things that you weren't going to be able to do that other people could. That you could just try again another day. And I think, if anything, Chucklevision is that kind of show. It's like Pinky and the Brain in that respect. Pinky and the Brain will always attempt to find ways to take over the world. Pinky or Brain, at some point, will screw up the plan, and then they go back to the lab, and they go back into the cage, and it's fine. We'll just try again tomorrow night. It's fine. We don't have to worry too much about it. It's the same thing for Chucklevision. Well, we tried that, buddy. Did it work? Did it work, Paul? I don't think so, buddy, but don't worry. We'll try again tomorrow. That was the show! And it was this brilliant thing of, if at first you don't succeed, try again. Yes, that is what we want in a show. And honestly, I don't know, I guess a lot of shows now just try and lay it on for comedic effects more than anything, but while this show was funny, it still had that, there was never a we'll try again next time moment with these characters. It was just, it was implied, it wasn't directly said. And, I don't know, I guess it just made it more fun. But anyway, I suggest you go watch episodes of Chucklevision. Draw your own conclusions, and if nothing else, comment below your favourite episode out of Chucklevision. Actually, give me episodes that you think I should watch. I haven't watched all 292 episodes. In fact, I haven't watched Chucklevision properly. At least, you know, properly binging. I haven't probably binged Chucklevision ever. I've caught a lot of the episodes, and I did laugh my ass off. I grew up with Chucklevision for crying out loud. But you know what? Give me some ideas. Or, you know, go watch it yourself. Randomfish short review, out.